before we start getting into the formal program, I definitely want to thank, and I hope all of you can put your hands together for this beautiful facility here at Columbia. And this is the Linfest Center of the Arts. And we're very grateful to have this facility in Harlem. It's an amazing thing. And Brendan back there is our contact, along with a lot of his crew that are here helping out. And we're very appreciative of the support that they've given us throughout this. And we will continue to populate this place. My name is Clayton Banks. I am the CEO of Silicon Harlem. And along with my co-founder, Bruce Lincoln, our whole goal is to transform Harlem into a tech and innovation hub. We set that goal about in 2013-14. And we thought it would take us about 15, 20 years. And it turns out that within 3.5 years, all of the dreams that we were having then have come true. We have co-working spaces in Harlem. When we started, there were none. Some of you from other places might think, wow, we had those 10 years ago. Well, yeah, we just got one in 2016. We have accelerators, we have incubators, we certainly have a robust startup community, and we've been able to see the difference. One of the things that we did in Harlem was we worked with WeWork to put a facility in Harlem, and one of the things, the criteria that we helped shape and insisted upon was to ensure that businesses that were in Upper Manhattan would have access to that facility. And so they allowed us, and together we put a program together to let startups get inside of that WeWork for free for 3 months. A nice little runway and discounted rent for 9 months. So for a year, you had an opportunity to really try to build your startup. That made a difference. In addition, we had made a requirement to the startups. We asked all the startups that came under our program to provide community service throughout the year. So thousands of hours were given to nonprofits, to shelters, to food banks, and our own talent, whether it's helping to develop a website for a small company or do some graphic work or help people learn how to code. All that has happened in the last 3-4 years. And one of the great outcomes has been figuring out how to reach out to the world. We really feel like what we are doing here in Harlem can be replicated all over the world. But it's also important to us to find like-minded people with similar values. And we found that literally in Harlem. Not just Harlem, New York. Haarlem, Netherlands. So we're so happy to be connected to that. Now let me say something. My Dutch people are going to laugh, but let me see if I can say Goedenavond allemaal. All right. I just said to them, go to hell. No, I didn't say that. No. Those are my friends, and I'm going to quickly bring up my partner in crime here. This is our 3rd year doing Harlem to Harlem. In our first year, we had the exact same format where we had 3 Netherlands companies pitch and 3 New York companies pitch. And the first year, New York won. And that company that won, called Recordgram, it has gone on to great things. It ended up winning TechCrunch. It's been financed, and they're very successful to this very day. So we're very proud that they started right here at Harlem to Harlem. And then last year, the Dutch won. And they had a great company called No Food Waste, and a phenomenal startup that also had just a great presentation on how we all can participate in making sure that we're not wasting food. And so, yes, this is the 3rd year. And once again, we have 3 New York companies pitching tonight and 3 Dutch companies pitching tonight. And it's not like we're trying to be overly competitive and all that. We just want New York to win. So but we're fair about it. We got great judges tonight. We'll introduce them shortly, but I'm going to bring up the queen of startups. She is passionate. And I like to talk about the fact that she actually has gone over the world trying to help startups. She actually went, when all the hurricanes were hitting islands and things of that nature, she's helped out people in St. Martin and Curacao and all over the world. So we are blessed to have this young lady here, and my partner for the third year now, Valerie. Come on up, please, and say hello to everybody.
Thank you, Clayton. Before I say something, I'd like to show you how it looks like at the other side of the ocean. So here it is.
Polder is the business park of Haarlem, located in the center of the Amsterdam metropolitan area. 15 minutes away from the Schiphol airport, its own train station, and a 5-minute bicycle ride away from the historical inner city. That's why big international companies and successful Dutch brands have settled here. Haarlem, you'll never want to leave. It is a top location for living, working and entrepreneurship. With a high standard of living, a great atmosphere and a zest for life. Haarlem has sprouted magnificent businesses. Where once there were mighty figure cranes, today young creatives find each other in a lively startup community. Haarlemers are highly educated. The city invests in talent. There is intense cooperation between educational institutions and the business community. It is precisely the ragged edges, the space and the energy of the city that stimulates the entrepreneurial spirit. The manufacturing industry, creative sector and new technology blend seamlessly. Dutch export products from the Haarlem Business Park are to be found all over the world. With the Smart Industry Field Lab and a state-of-the-art data center campus at the business park, Haarlem is the vanguard in regards to digital connectivity and in its ambition to turn the metropolitan area into the preeminent global data hub. Active networks, short lines. The cooperation between entrepreneurs, municipality and park management is unique. We share the same ambition. This makes it possible to achieve a lot, if not everything.
Oh, that's you. And we're expecting also somebody, or not? Miss Brewer? She will not make it? Okay. Yes, I have, but just want to check. Yes, Haarlem to Haarlem. It's beautiful that there are two cities in the world with almost the same name. And that's what I was thinking about 3 years ago. Originally I'm a lawyer, but I missed the innovation part in being a lawyer. So that's why I started HaarlemValley and also a concept Present Your Startup. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So the last 5 years, the first 2 years I did it as a hobby and now it's a business. And that's also what we learn startups in our program, that you should have a business instead of a hobby. But so the last 5 years we had 400 applications to our program and we expanded to New York for 1 week a year. Hopefully it will be more. And also to the Caribbean. In the Caribbean we also have our academy. So come in. Oh, she's leaving. Yes, so we're hoping to have a soft landings program in Haarlem where we can facilitate 3 New York startups to see if Europe can be their gateway from Haarlem. It's near to Amsterdam, but Haarlem is a lot nicer and easygoing. Amsterdam is nice as well, of course. Everybody knows Amsterdam. But Haarlem to Haarlem, I hopefully startups here from New York like to start in Haarlem. Tonight we have 6 beautiful startups and we selected 3. Hopefully one of the 3 will win. We're not competitive at all. And this is an awful photo of me, but okay, you can see me. Please come in. Well, we have also brought somebody. she is after this video. Somebody from Haarlem, from the mayor's office. But first, I want to show you our achievements from the last 4 years.
April 2014. It all started under a palm tree at Curaçao. An idea popped into the head of founder Valerie Valenduc. A combination between the TV show Dragon's Den, live crowdfunding during an event, and her growing interest for public speaking. At that moment, Valerie never thought that we would stand now where we are today. Let me tell you the story of Present Your Startup. May 2014. The business network in Haarlem is very skeptical about creating a startup community in Haarlem. The Dutch capital Amsterdam is only 20 minutes away and is considered the place to be for startups. June 2014. The Present Your Startup Foundation is born. September 2014. 66 startups apply for the first edition. November 2014. The first show presented by Jort Kelder is an unexpected success. The startups raised more than €300,000 live on stage. Double Dutch Design is the first winner of the pitch competition. June 2015. Opening of the Startup Hub at a central location at the Grote Houtstraat in the city of Haarlem, provided and powered by Rabobank. A partnership between Rabobank and Present Your Startup is born and growing stronger. September 2015. The first Startup Academy is a fact. November 2015. The second finals are again a huge success. The participating startups raised more than €400,000 live on stage. May 2016. The first edition of Present Your Startup New York in Haarlem is a fact. The American winner raises more than $500,000 from a Silicon Valley investor. November 2016. No Food Wasted is winner of Present Your Startup 2016 and raises €50,000 live on stage. Runner-up Swipe Guide raises €300,000 later that night during the networking drinks after the live show. May 2017. The second edition of Present Your Startup New York takes place in Harlem, New York. The mayor of the city of Haarlem, Jos Wienen, and Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer sign a letter of intent to strengthen the cooperation between Haarlem, the Netherlands, and Haarlem, New York. October 2017. First edition of Present Your Startup Caribbean takes place at Curaçao. The winner raises an amount of 120,000 guilders. Where do we stand after 3 years?
4 years. Okay, there was one thing what was not correct in the video, so that's why I stopped it. Let me see. These are the startups from which we chose from the Netherlands: Meester, Sea Turtle Conservation Curaçao, and Mods. Give them an applause, please. These are the ones from New York City. Applause, please. And then we have to announce the jury.
Yes.
So maybe you want to do it, or
You just have to add, Eric's on.
Eric's on.
Oh, okay.
Not a picture, but
We don't have your picture. So. Okay.
maybe you can introduce Eric.
Okay. The mayor's office is represented here, aren't we? Come on up and say hello to everybody, please. Let's do her before we do that.
Goedenavond allemaal. Hello everybody. My name is Ellen. I work at the mayor's office, and as you saw in the movie last year, Mayor Jos Wiene from Haarlem was here. Unfortunately, this year he can't make it, but he sent me to represent the city of Haarlem. We're very proud to be here tonight with all the entrepreneurs and the startups here, and very excited about this evening. It was in 1658 that the Dutchman Peter Stuyvesant founded New Haarlem and New Amsterdam, today known as Haarlem and New York. The original Haarlem is in the Netherlands. It's small. It's a small city, certainly compared to New York, but it's great. I think you all know Rembrandt, Ajax, Johan Cruijff, the Concertgebouw Orchestra, the Red Light District, the beer, the soft drugs, cheese, tulips. And Haarlem, it's only 10 minutes from Amsterdam, and it's a historic city with a perfect business park, as you saw in the movie. And we think it's for startups, it's the best gateway to Europe. We are delighted to welcome you here, and your borough president Gail Brewer visited our city this winter, and she loved it. And you saw it in the movie. She and Mayor Jos Wiene signed a letter of intent to further explore structural overseas cooperation. And we're focusing on 3 issues: startups and innovation, culture and music, and education and talent development. And for this reason, we are very proud to be here at Columbia University, because we are developing a university in Haarlem in an old prison, and would like to discover mutual benefits in this project with Columbia University. But back to tonight, we're very proud of Valerie and our team who made this event possible, and who, in cooperation with Clayton Banks of Silicon Haarlem, set up this speech event for the 3rd time. Good luck to all the startups, and let's do business, and let's connect Haarlem and Haarlem. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So now we get the opportunity to introduce those who are going to determine the winner. There's a big check around here somewhere. It's blank, but there's a big check somewhere around here. And we're going to present that later on tonight. But we do have 4 incredible judges, all with a tremendous amount of experience, and we're proud that they're here. We are excited because Eric Cunningham has a long career in both finance as well as telecommunications. He's been around 1,000 years, and we love him. He's a historian and everything else, but the great Eric Cunningham also works for Silicon Haarlem. So say hi, Eric. I'm just going to introduce one more, and then Valerie, you come down here and introduce the last 2. But I personally wanted to introduce my friend Miss Singh. Yes, because she even though she's Dutch, she lives in Boston for a lot of the year, and her and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and I just wanted to make sure that I let you know I think you're great, and you're trying to do great things, I know, all over the place, but particularly working here in the U.S. So she's really focused on making U.S. and international relations work, and I think that's just such a great thing. So please give Annalise Singh a great big hand.
We have 2 more judges, Rob Edelman. Rob is an investor and a business consultant, and he worked for a long time also in USA. And I'm very happy that he's on our team. in the Netherlands, and that he was willing to travel with us to judge the startups tonight. So give him a hand. And Jan Siderius, he's over there. He has a little bit of a tech background, so he will look into that. I think that's his specialism. And his company is also expanding to the USA, but he's very big in the Netherlands. So he's a real entrepreneur and knows what it's about. Give him a hand, please.
We are about to get busy with these great startups, but I just wanted to make a couple of quick comments and announcements. So one of them is, most of you walked in and met some of our young, beautiful interns. I don't know how many of them are in the room right now, but if you are an intern of Silicon Harlem, please stand up. Well, we got one here. That's great. That's Sam. Sam goes to UVA, University of Virginia, a Long Islander, and he's our junior community engineer. We have 3 more downstairs, and they're all in college. Butler, University of Virginia, Baruch. So we got a great crew of people, and they've been nothing but special for us. And let's see, what is there anything else? You want to make any announcements?
Yes.
Good.
Because this is a startup we chose, so I can announce this one, or you want to do it? Do we do it the other way around?
First one?
The first one, yes.
Let me make a comment first. Ha! My grandfather was a reverend, so we love the mic and love to talk. I just want to make one quick point. First of all, New Yorkers here, you guys, for the New Yorkers, the Dutch, she's looking at me like, it's this time, so we got to do this right now. And, New Yorkers like, well, so what? Let's keep it going, let's just, but we are going to stay on time. And I will say this, that we had lots of people apply to pitch tonight, and we could only choose 3. All of the ones that applied were really, really good. Some of them are here right now. And we want to let everyone know in this room that we will be having more pitch nights because every startup needs a shot. And Mr. Tech with the money, Silicon Harlem is looking for money. So we're a startup too, Silicon Harlem. We're a startup too. But we are much more focused on helping people all around the city to get the shot that they need, because we know that businesses that are starting up are the businesses that are hiring up. And that's an important thing in our economic engine in general, is hiring people. The other thing we do at Silicon Harlem is digital literacy. We want to make sure everyone's digitally literate so that they can increase their economic status, because broadband actually does that. So with that, we are going to announce the very first startup. I hope you're ready. Valerie, you come up here, because with the Dutch startups, I'll mess their names up. So.
Yes, this is a special one, because he's a Dutchman, but he lives in New York. So it's not fair, maybe.
You get to win on both sides.
In the Netherlands, we have investors in the room, and they say, yes, I want to invest. It's sort of intention to invest, so you're not completely stuck. But there are some witnesses in the room, if you say it. So every startup who's staying here and pitching is looking for funding. So if you have something in your pants, your back, how you call it here? Your wallet. Then please do so. We're happy if you do it. So the first one is Mats, and he was part of a program in Curaçao, all the way from New York. He traveled to Curaçao to be part in our program. So I'm proud that he's here to pitch his startup tonight. So give him a big applause, Hugo van Dijk.
Good evening, New York. thank you for your time and your attention. I hope, yeah, here we go. So raise your hand if you think that your rent is too high. And we all know, as New Yorkers, we know where that came from. There's somebody who ran in politics for that. So how about the price of a new home? How's that? That's pretty expensive too, right? So I'm here to present to you our startup. It's called MODS, and it stands for Modular Housing on Demand System. Our vision is to make home ownership affordable again, because we know that that hasn't gone in the right direction for most people. And we feel that modular home construction is the solution to make it affordable again. Our mission is to design and construct affordable and sustainable new modular homes with our customers worldwide, And who are those customers? It's everybody that wants to live in a new home, and those are starters, seniors, and in the US, a lot of veterans. And then the other customer segment are our partners, which are architects, designers, suppliers, and schools and government, because they also need housing. We've all heard about Lego and IKEA, right? So it's that's a great example of modular, and it's prefabricated. We have standardized sizes. We have some accessories to a certain degree. You can design your own a little bit, and of course, it's easy shipping. And this is exactly what modular housing is about as well. Our construction concept is modular steel beam frames, interior panels and exterior panels, and then it's all prefabricated. This is kind of like what it looks like. We use light gauge steel frames. We know that the construction time is at least 2 times faster, and obviously time is money, so we also know that that's going to make a big difference. It's also stronger, and this is exactly why I looked for this particular construction system, because we need to rebuild in the Caribbean islands after all of those hurricanes. We also know that modular housing can be 30 to 50% cheaper. So what is MODS? Modular Housing on Demand System is going to be a software platform where you can actually design your own home and then buy it online, which last time in Curacao we got a good laugh out of that one. But because it's modular and we're stepping in between the end user and the supply chain partner, MODS will be easily scalable, and we want to be the Amazon of modular housing. So this is our first standard model, designed by my co-founder Zeno. He couldn't make it. He's holding the fort in Curacao. And so we look at the market potential with 3 different markets with their own specific affordable housing needs. We're going to focus on the Caribbean because we feel that that's really urgent right now to build back better in all of those islands that were hit by hurricanes. Then the USA, we have a serious problem with first-time home buyers, senior housing, social housing, and some veterans. And of course, in the city here, we also have a homeless problem. In Europe, there are a lot more companies that are doing this already, so we can support that, but that'll be my last focus. This is what a multi-unit system can look like, and that can be social housing. It can also be a hotel concept. The business model is based on a percentage of the revenue of the final product. We are going to have preferred partners in each region or location. They will pay an annual fee, and then everybody that's not preferred will actually end up paying a per-use fee. So that's how we're going to make some money. I'm Hugo. I'm the founder, and I'm a realtor in New York City. Zeno is an architect and designer and the co-founder. We have a friend of mine, accountability partner. We have a mentor. We also started an advisory board with combined more than 50 years of experience in technology and in construction. We got lucky with a super good construction company from Curacao that's going to support us. And then in August in Amsterdam, FAB is going to start manufacturing the steel frame. We need $300,000, so open your wallet. We're going to build the platform. We do standardized models, 5 more. Then we will build 2 models, 1 2-bedroom and 1 3-bedroom. But we need all of you, investors, fans, connectors, beta testers, to make home ownership affordable again.
We're going to try to stay on time, so we're going to ask the judges if you have any questions. We'll take 2 or 3 questions. Audience, just hold your questions for later, but judges, do you have any questions for
Starting price is going to be specific to the region, but we, according to New York City, affordable housing projects that have already been realized are around $200 a square foot construction cost, and I know that we can definitely make that or better. Yeah, so in August we'll start manufacturing in Duivendrecht, next to Amsterdam. But when the market in USA will take off, we're looking to put a factory here, and we're looking to have job growth and all of the economic opportunities that go with it. So you have to ship that? For now, we're going to ship it. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you very much. Give them a hand. Give them a hand, everyone. What's next? Let's get another one going. But before we do anything, get happy, Ellen. Gail Brewer is represented here tonight by her deputy, Matthew Washington. Come on over here, Matthew. This is our borough deputy president, second man in charge of Manhattan. Say a few words to our Dutch and New Yorkers here. This is my brother from another mother.
That's right. I'm the older one, though. I'm excited to be here. Thrilled anytime I get to spend time with Clayton. And whenever there's an event celebrating Harlem and Haarlem, I'm excited to be a part of it. Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer has been such a force of nature behind advancing and growing technologies and ideas and components. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of this, thrilled to listen, hear, and figure out how we in government support the ideas, the thinkers, the collaborators, so that we can make our city, our country, our planet a better place. So I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to be in this space with all of you. And I thought when I walked into the building and saw all of the orange that we were celebrating Haarlem, and right. And so I'm glad that Columbia got the colors right for today. So I'm just thrilled to be here, thrilled to enjoy the rest of the evening with you, and want to be a partner in all of this, and thank Clayton for all the wonderful work that he's doing. He truly is my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Matthew. Thanks for coming. We couldn't do much of anything without you and the borough president. It's been a great partnership. So what's the instructions now? We're going to go. Let's go to the next startup.
Well, maybe the audience have some questions for Hugo. That's nice.
For Hugo?
Yes.
Anyone have any questions? Good. Next startup. Okay? We're going to move it along quickly. Okay. Who's going to click this thing for me?
It's here.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. You got to be kidding me. So we have our first New York company stepping up. Wow. Yofiap. How do you pronounce that? Yofiap. All right. So this is sort of in that fintech space, but we have Brian Uribe. Uribe is here to present his startup.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Brian Uribe. I'm the founder and general manager of Yofi, where we believe your finances should be on your terms. So I tried to design the presentation to fall in line with the questions that I'm expecting you guys to have running through your mind when you hear the word Yofi. So let's just go down them. What is Yofi? What's the problem we're solving? How are we going to fix it? Who are we fixing it for? how can Yofi help everyone? What have we accomplished so far? And then how you can help. So what is Yofi? Yofi is an application that's going to help people automate their debt elimination, track and forecast expenses, maximize rewards, and manage all financial products and services. So our mission is to make financial stability accessible, and there's currently no application that could do all of these things on one platform. So what's the problem we're solving? Americans currently owe over $15 trillion in debt. Now that scares me, right? This is due to most people not having, having little to no financial knowledge and having access to ineffective tools for managing debt and personal finance. So the reality is this is just going to get worse. So how are we going to fix it? So we've designed a proprietary formula that calculates the most effective way for people to eliminate their credit card debt. I've given it to a number of my family and friends, and they've given it to some of their friends, and it works effectively. So we're using this formula and integrating into the application to automate debt elimination, right? And at launch, we're going to have access to data from over 15,000 banks, including all the necessary information we're going to need to eliminate credit card debt and other kinds of debt. Access to transaction history, so now we can see how you're spending your money and forecasting the future. Access to the rewards programs that people typically have access to through their banks that they may not be aware of. And also have in one centralized location all the offers that the financial institutions are offering you that may help you get out of debt faster. So who are we fixing it for? So 185.2 million Americans have credit cards, right? So the estimated total addressable market is $17 billion annual recurring revenue. Our 5-year revenue target is $3.5 billion at 20% market share. And we're going with a subscription model of $96 average revenue per user per year, right? So we're going to launch with a freemium model, really with the goal of getting people on the subscription model to provide them with a lot more insight and more detailed responses on how they should be managing their debt and their financial picture. So how can Yofi help everyone, right? Because finances are not a one-size-fits-all, but most people's goals are one of four. They either want to reduce their credit card debt, they want to minimize their interest payments, manage their spending habits, and maximize their rewards programs, right? So a lot of people really don't understand what exactly these points can buy, what they can do. Some people are interested in cashback. Some people are interested in gadgets. Some people just want to travel. We're going to have all the information to actually be able to propose the best way for you to use these. Now, what have we accomplished? We've completed our product spec. We have a working prototype of our formula. We've completed mock-ups and website design, so make sure to check us out at www.yofiapp.com. And we've also completed our business planning, revenue modeling, and market strategizing. Now, how can you help? We're looking to raise $50,000 to fund app development. We're looking for a partner that's going to provide us with mentorship throughout the launch and development process, because that's the critical part of any startup. And then we also want an investor or partner that's going to provide access to key people in their network that could help enable our goal. I'd like to thank you all and open it up to questions.
Yes. Welcome.
Brian, why is your team uniquely capable to execute on this plan?
So I have 5 years of enterprise software sales experience. My partner has 5 years of operations experience. We're outsourcing a lot of this, and we're really looking to start building the team forward. We have a lot of successful mentors. Some of them are in this room right now. So we have a pretty strong network, but we still want to get more mentorship to take it to the next level and execute, because that's the biggest thing.
Very clear. Thank you.
Anyone in the audience have a question? Oh, hold on, wait for the mic. Yeah, don't get in my way. That'll be a bad thing. Who had the question? Oh, my man.
I was just curious if you could tell us what the MVP version of your app would look like.
Yep. So the minimum viable product for us is going to be a product that focuses on helping users eliminate their credit card debt. That's low-hanging fruit. There's no application right now that's solely focusing on that. Everybody's focused on budgeting, but budgeting is only one aspect of your financial picture. There's some applications that are very successful with credit reporting. That's only one side of the financial picture. So you could get a better credit score, but you could still be $20,000 in debt. You could budget better, but you could still be $30,000 in debt. So we want to help eliminate the big issue and start drawing an ROI for our customers and start making that our success stories.
Other questions? Oh, good. Have to be on the other side. By the way, one of my dear friends and legendary television executives is here in the audience. I have to acknowledge the great Doug Holloway over here. Doug, raise your hand. A phenomenal person.
So you were talking about your IP formula. I have a great interest for that. So how are you protecting that?
So right now we haven't filed for a patent yet. Kind of thinking through that. Spoken with my lawyer about it. We're kind of looking at it as kind of the KFC formula. So really, for us, it's strike the market first and then continue to innovate at a pace that it's going to be difficult for our competitors to come up to. I mean, I have a business degree. There's a mathematician out there that's going to find a better way to do it, right? So how do you innovate and make it difficult for your competition to catch up to you?
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of features of your product about being able to provide a comprehensive overview of credit card offers out there, as well as helping people optimize their rewards. Can you tell us a little bit about how you plan to do that, as that seems operationally quite complex to be comprehensive?
Yep. So the way that we're doing it, we have a third-party API partner that they have access to over 15,000 banks, and it's continuously growing. So those 15,000 banks are global. That information is actively in their system. So it's really just a matter of somebody plugging into it and pulling it and actually being able to do actionable information with it. That's what we're going to have to build, is an engine that can process that information and give it best to the customer. Who's your competitor? So we don't have anyone directly in the debt elimination place. People that would go up against us would, in theory, be like a Mint. They're focused on budgeting. They're acquired by Intuit. Another one would be Credit Karma. That's probably the gorilla in the room, over 30 million users. But they're focused solely on credit reporting. So they make a lot of money off of advertising.
All right, we're going to move on. Valerie? Give him a hand.
Thank you. Next one, Meester from Haarlem. With Tim from Poplendam. Here is the clicker. He was a winner last year in the Netherlands. So give him a big hand and then you can start.
Hello. Who in this audience ever did an online training before? It was probably quite boring, wasn't it? So let me summarize online training. Online training is boring. It's expensive. And it's time consuming. And I don't know why, because yearly we spend $31 billion every year globally on e-learning. And that amount grows about 11% year on year. And why can't we make not boring trainings? That's something I ask myself. So I'm Tim, the CEO of Meester, and we have a platform that can fix this problem. How do we do that? With our platform, you can easily create a training, and we add social and gamified components. So yeah, the training will instantly become fun. That leads to better performance of your team and also cost reduction. So that's a win-win. So while creating a training, we provide real-time feedback on how your text looks like. If you're using too much difficult words, we provide that feedback, or we ask you to add some images to make it more engaging. We designed a standardized design frame, so every training looks perfect on mobile, a tablet, or a desktop. So you don't have to think about that. We just do that for you. And we have some behavioral recognition. So if we think that some user will stop doing the training, we will provide some cheer up moment or like a shoulder clap, so that they will continue do the training. So we work for a lot of nice customers like Samsung, DSM, and yeah, there are already 50,000 users in our platform doing the trainings. We have 120K of annual recurring revenue, and last year we did 250,000 of total revenue. And we all did it with this awesome team. But now we're looking for 500,000 euros to expand for the next 2 years to grow to at least 200 million of annual recurring revenue. We're going to set up a partner program to really be able to scale exponentially, because the sales it takes long for one customer. So if we have partners, then we can grow exponentially. We will focus on first target markets where e-learning is very important, like healthcare. And of course, we have to grow the team. We need some more awesome people to add to the team. So if you think you can help us to go to the next phase, let's talk.
All right, judges.
Do you know what other competitors you have out there?
Yeah, so you basically have two kinds of competitors. You have like the software, the learning management systems. Like every big company has one, like IBM or SAP, and there are some smalls as well. But they don't really have like a nice authoring tool. And you also have the authoring tools like Lectora, and there are a lot of competitors, but they are not combined.
Okay, and this is subscription based?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like an annual fee based on the amount of users.
Okay.
Yeah, the revenues are also excellent for a startup. I saw half of it was only recurring. I would expect that number to be higher, and you want it to become higher, I think.
Yeah.
How come that only half is recurring, and how are you going to get it higher?
Well, we started as a project firm, like we were doing just projects, and then we kind of rolled into the, we saw an opportunity to create a product out of it, and then we started to shift into the license based. But it's also we have to do some implementation and some consultation to the new customers, and that is something we want to shift to the partners as well, so that we can just focus on the product and really the scalable stuff.
Thank you.
Audience? Oh, we got one up there. Oh, we got one right here. Thank you.
Yeah, I've taken dozens of webinars, and they're so boring. The content is boring. The delivery is boring. Everything's boring. I'm curious, why haven't more creative people entered this field, number one, in general? And number two, can you give us one or two examples of what you talked about in terms of behavioral recognition? What do you do there? Do you ask questions? Do you monitor the people taking the training? What do you do?
So what was the first question?
Well, the first question was a general question. Yeah. Why haven't more creative people entered this field? Why is it so deadly boring?
I don't know. Probably because you have the authoring tools and the learn management systems. You already have them, but nobody wants to combine it, I think. And the second question, the behavioral recognition. One thing we do, if you're doing a quiz, like we ask questions to see if anybody has the knowledge. So basically, if we see that somebody has given 2 or 3 wrong answers, we try to provide an easier question so that he or she will have some kind of positive experience, that they will most likely answer it correctly. But also, if you finish a quiz and you didn't do it correct, we give them a cheer up that with like, you're still 80% better than the rest of the group, or something like that. So even a negative experience, we try to provide some positive cheer up to get them engaged.
All right, we have a question up here.
Hey, great job on this. This is very, very interesting. So as far as like the platform itself, you mentioned that it's configurable, or do you develop on top of it? How does that exactly work?
How do you mean?
So, I mean, you mentioned that you're doing some projects, correct? So you were like kind of doing the developing work for them. If somebody were to come in and say, I want you to build out this system for me for this training, would they be able to do it themselves, or do you have to help them do it, or does an SI need to help them do it?
Well, if they really want new features, then we should probably create those because they don't have access to the code.
Okay.
But we kind of stopped doing that a while ago because we are creating a product and we are almost break even, so we don't have to take those consulting jobs anymore.
So everybody uses the same product.
So
then,
we just provide. We get feedback from every customer and every user, and then we try to combine that to new features instead of asking money to create new features.
Perfect. And then the other thing that I see a challenge with e-learning is compliance. So is that something that you guys built into the system?
Like compliance as a training, or?
Well, compliance, to follow like the regulatory and all those different things that you have to go ahead and look at. You mentioned text, how you could notify them, because I could see that being a really big differentiator for yourself.
Every company has their own protocols and compliance, so you can just configure that and at your own privacy policy and stuff like that. So that
Okay, we have another question. By the way, that was my man Chris. Eric, that's Chris up here.
So thank you for sharing this. I actually come from the HR space, and I've seen a bunch of vendors. So you have a lot of these training agencies that have taken their program and moved to the online space, and some of them are actually pretty engaging. What differentiates you from there? Because I don't hear anything that sounds like you have a training background.
No, that's correct. Well, we do a lot of research about didactical and physical, psychological models to increase the information transfer. And we combine that by giving feedback during while you create the content. So if you are typing the content, we analyze the text and we provide feedback if the text is too difficult to read, or like the words you use are too difficult for the audience you are writing it for. And that differentiates us for that part as well, while showing the training to some user, we automatically adapt to that user. If we see that they will likely stop doing the training, we try to give them some triggers to start to keep going. And I haven't seen that in any other tool yet.
All right. So first of all, no easy questions from New Yorkers. And anyone who starts a question with just saying boring, that's an issue. But great job, phenomenal. Give them a hand. Okay, Valerie, who's next? Do I hit a button here? Oh, wow. Here we go. Here is our second New York startup. Anybody from New York here? No, clap if you're from New York. Come on. Yeah. So, wow, what a joy to talk about kids and to talk about kids and STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we have the phenomenal founder here who's about to tell us about STEM kids. Give Yvonne a great big hand. Thanks, Yvonne, for coming out.
Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
So my name is Yvonne Tavenot. I'm the founder of STEM Kids NYC. I'm also a Columbia University Zankel Fellow. Basically, I wanted to kind of just take a quick look back. Where STEM Kids NYC and we're going is we're taking a really good look at looking to collaborate with other entities to see how they are stemming the gap, if you will. So just recently, I was at the United Nations at a convening and had the pleasure of working and just collaborating with those in the academic world, those who were in private sectors, and those who were in organizations like mine in terms of really trading notes on what we were doing. And what I got present to in the room was simply that when my father introduced me to science when I was 6, bought me my first microscope and slides, that were read or written in Latin. I really got present to the fact that he really put me onto a good foundation. And then when I was in 7th grade, he introduced me to computer science. So at age 11, I created my first basic game. And what I'm actually present to today, and as I've been in this field of STEM education, both as a computer programmer myself and now as an educator, I see more than ever the need to actually really work with schools and other entities to ensure that students who come from both underrepresented backgrounds and just any background has that foundation in order to succeed in these STEM fields. So there's a lot of people that we talk about the gap. I'm doing research around the development of STEM curriculum that's based in culturally relevant pedagogy at Columbia, and everybody has different theories. So the theories that are out there is there's just no identity that the student has when they go into higher education. They may not have the foundation. They may not see themselves in it. It may just be too hard, and on and on. I started STEM Kids NYC in 2015 really to address some issues around that theory and actually to be on the ground and providing a daily focus with children initially as young as 6 to help them with building that foundation. So we teach kids how to code. We also introduce them to engineering and design. We also engage them in experiential labs, so learn by doing science labs so they can learn to love science and really engage in a natural basis along this scientific method. We also introduce them to virtual reality creation. So there is a software that I use that's out there that allows children to plan for their experiences and build their own VR experiences. We introduce them to robotics, stop motion animation, and literally everything under the sun related to STEM activities. And so our mission basically is to bridge the gap between the current school curriculum and the immediate need for schools to prepare students for STEM opportunities and for jobs that do not yet exist. So we all know, and just to get, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but, STEM jobs are growing at a rapid pace. And there's still this gap, if you will. Less than 10% of U.S. schools have computer science curriculum. And what's happening is that most of those schools are in high school. So STEM Kids NYC really spends a lot of time on the elementary and middle school level to really build that layer so that those students who enter into high school and higher education have a good, solid foundation for them to succeed. Just last fall, I decided to be a scientist myself and just said, what if we were to have a STEM pre-K? What would that look like in the room? And so STEM Kids NYC now has STEM pre-K. So at JCC Haarlem, which is our host, we provide science and engineering concepts that tap into the curious learner's natural curiosity and really engage with students as young as 2. So we have a number of programs. We are an after-school programs. We also provide in-school programs. There's 2 schools in particular this school year that we were actually during the day in the school. One school in Brooklyn, actually, the principal said, you can have all of my 3rd graders, all 103 of them. So from 8 to 11:56, we taught code school. So we engaged the students in making their own little fun apps using JavaScript and teaching them the kind of just like you do reading comprehension, really understanding the commands, having them be able to play back what it means based upon experiencing it in their app. And I'm very pleased to say that we had one of our periods was for special education, or those students who were labeled special ed. And I could not tell most of the students in that class what the difference was with the other students. So these are in-school programs. We have programs both in the New York City area and also in New Jersey. So I'm pleased to say that we are expanding. We also have Saturday programs. So the Saturday Tech Fest have a different theme, whether it's Robot Fest or Code School or STEMapalooza, where students come in. June rounded out STEMapalooza, where we had a culmination period. Students had been with us throughout the year or in our programs, actually led demos so that they were actually teaching their peers and even adults. We also have a STEM summer program. This year, it's going to be at the New York Institute of Technology. It's a 5-week program, 8 to 5, to support working families. And it really gives us an opportunity to spend time with students, but they also all get visual arts, and they get an hour and a half of play in terms of lunch and recess. And then we take them to field trips on Friday. We also have plunged into teacher development. There are some schools that we found that they just didn't have the budget, particularly in daycare, and they've brought me in actually to do teacher development so that I can show general ed teachers how to incorporate science and engineering and some computational thinking into their general ed classes. What I found is that really, and all what I'm sharing with you are additional revenue plays, just so that you can get that this is not free. All of these are charges to the actual client and client acquisition. We also, in February, just recently launched a coding boot camp, and that is specifically to address the 18 to 24-year-olds who might be underserved, underskilled, underemployed, particularly in the Harlem area. And the whole posit behind that was to say, what if we were to give people a chance and eliminate any barriers? So the program is free, they do not require a laptop, I eliminated the testing, I just wanted to eliminate any obstacles that normally would be in their way and provide similar classes that a regular boot camp does. In addition to that, my teachers and I are working on a learning management system that also serves as an affiliate or advocate so that the students who are not in our classes can have a learning management system to tap into with videotaped instruction and other content that they can use when they're not with us. So at a glance, we have had 175 students enrolled in our programs. We have 37 volunteers. We get those volunteers mostly through volunteer match on an individual basis, but once a month, corporate tech startups dial into me and actually ask, we'd like to bring 15 to 20 people to actually have a give back, whether it's on the Saturday or during our after school program. Our results, these are here. I'm going to go to quickly to, we've been in the news, The Give Show, Today's Show, AM New York, and my hometown. I started a STEM Kids Champion City in my hometown in Springfield, Ohio. This is our board. Okay, so one thing I wanted to share with you is this. So I put some revenue slides, so I forgot. So since we started in 2015, the revenue in 2016 was over 115% increase. And then for 2016, our increase in revenue compared to 2017 was 23%. Year to date for 2018, we've surpassed 2017, and we have not even finished the year. I'm very, very pleased with that. And some of the revenue hasn't even been placed on the books. So some of our clients are D.E. Shaw, got a contract. It's a data science and information technology company. They're going to be using us to do STEM for their employees this summer. I just got an email while I was in here that the Teaching Channel has expressed a letter of intent. They're going to bring in STEM Kids NYC to provide podcasts, because one thing they said that they didn't have was culturally relevant STEM. So they're going to actually hire STEM Kids NYC to provide those services. We have a number of different clients in schools, private schools, charter schools, and public schools, and we're just very pleased. We need about $300,000 to actually have a space here in Harlem that includes security and rent, shy of 1,000 square feet, and that will also pay for 2 people to actually run the space, and plus expanding into 4 schools.
Thank you.
Okay, questions? Judges, you guys go first. Who wants to be first?
First of all, my hat goes off to you.
Thank you.
Just women in tech is just something we have to really promote as well. It's something I have to say.
Thank you.
Yay!
Absolutely.
And so it's just hard, to be able to. Well, this is my mission: is to promote innovation between both, the Netherlands and the US, and bring it closer. And you're doing the same thing with kids, and so. My question to you, is this something similar to Chicago Math, where each school introduces it into, taking on STEM? So would the school system buy it from you? So each school system decides they would want that. How?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So right now I'm doing, parent, son goes to this school, so they actually bring me in. We're actually a Department of Education vendor.
Okay.
So it makes an easier conversation to say, hey, take a look at your money, bring it in. The intention strategically is I'm at Columbia to develop this particular type of curriculum that will allow access for multiple modes of learners. So right now, you don't have to think in this linear way. You don't have to just be good at science and math. I want to create this curriculum that allows for this hands-on access so that different learning styles can actually engage. And STEM Kids NYC is kind of like that play to allow that. When that happens, so when I pass the IRB and all the regulations, the intention is to market that curriculum to districts so that they can, the intention is to scale as much as possible to get everybody access. And so the answer is how, because a lot of times certain ways that you teach science and math are not understood by certain learners. And so we need to kind of get over that and to provide a curriculum that allows for easier access and engagement.
Audience has questions. Let's get a couple of those.
Yeah, so we started off as a nonprofit. It was easier to get in to have access, but there will be a for-profit when we start developing this EdTech Play, this learning management system. We'll have to go that way so that I can go after certain dollars.
Don't ask questions without we have a live stream and people may be watching.
Franchising STEM NYC to scale?
I've considered it, but not right now. It's a little too early to consider franchising. Right now, I want to control that and control the model and how it's executed. Many people have asked me, oh, I want to start it in Iowa. That's great. Let's collaborate together to do that. But franchising, not right now. You're welcome.
For the STEM pre-K, are you building certain hardware products to kind of introduce these children to like cars and things like that, and just how to put them back together? Are you going to be developing that?
No.
Or okay. Or I was
yeah,
gonna
it's
say,
already out there. There's so many
Gotcha.
different things that are out there now. People have really done my job and made it easier. I'm now just saying, let's take these products that are specifically built for STEM pre-K. If you Google STEM pre-K products, you'll see a wide variety. I'm just taking it now and saying, let's develop some curriculum around it. I'm a teacher. I know how to develop. I'm a curriculum designer. I know learning styles. And let's now create these things. Yeah. Hi there. I have been approached by Girls Who Code, and what it felt like last September was that it was just kind of circling the wagon, if you will, just to see who was out there. I think it was a new regional director who had just got the job, and we had our conversation, and then that was it. What makes this unique is that unlike Girls Who Code, unlike Black Girls Code, unlike All-Star Code, unlike Maker State, there's a number of different, I can go on and on, there's like 10 in the area. We are one of the two, because there's Dazzling Discoveries that's about 20 years older than STEM Kids. We're the only, other than Dazzling Discoveries, that does something every day for students. We do not market ourselves as teaching how to code, and we've just had a month, every once a month we have a 3-hour hackathon. That's just not going to cut it as me as an educator. So you need frequency and want to build anything. It's just like reading and math. If you want to build computational thinking, you need to be with the students daily to do so.
Great. We've got to move on, but do you feel her passion? Do you feel her passion?
Awesome.
Thanks for being here. So look, we're halfway. We only have 2 startups left. We've got one Dutch startup and one American startup. Yes. So, we're gonna get to the next one, but I feel like I have to say something. Do I have to say anything? Everybody good? Here's my question. If you have a startup, stand up right now. If you have a startup, stand up right now. You see what this looks like? That's awesome. That is awesome. That's what we're talking about. Now sit down, come on. But I like to acknowledge that because you're seeing these great presentations. What you don't see is what has gone on behind them. How much this is difficult. How difficult this is going without, sacrificing, hoping people still like you. There's all this work that goes behind it. It's not easy. And it's not for everyone, frankly. So when someone has worked so hard to come up here and present their startup, I know what they have had to go through to get to this point. And that's still pre-money in most of the cases. So this is hard. So when you stand up, you should stand up proud because I can relate. I've had 4 startups. 2 of them failed miserably. And it hurts, but it gives you that mettle to keep going. So we're going to move on to our next startup, and it is a Dutch company.
Yes.
Yes.
Sabine, come on over. Sabine is from Curaçao, but she's Dutch.
Thank you very much. What's that? Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. I'd like to start off with a question. How much is a clean, healthy ocean worth to you? If I would be to answer that question, I would say it's priceless. But the sad fact is that conservation efforts are failing miserably because our oceans are filling up with plastics and toxins. And if we don't change anything fast, our ocean will have more plastic than fish by the time 2050 comes. So my name is Sabine Berendsen, and I'm a social entrepreneur, and I'm the founder of Sea Turtle Conservation Curaçao. I have the pleasure, and I'm very grateful to work in a fantastic team. I have 2 staff members, 30 core volunteers, and I have local, regional, and international partners. We are located in Curaçao, that's in the Caribbean, and we work with conservation, research, and education. We are active from 2014 onwards, and we actually reached quite some goals. We saved over thousands of turtles. We cleaned a lot of beaches that were filled with marine debris. We produced a video clip or music video. We made an online book. We had a sea turtle exposition. We organized turtle experiences. We have a social media following of 30,000 plus. And all in all, we reached more than 150,000 people with our activities to create awareness. One of the things that we do is we take plastic from the beaches and we create nice designer items from them. We started in August and we sold 1,600 items already with a value of $22,000. So that might not seem much, but it's only sea turtle items so far, and we are developing other types of stuff right now. So I'll come to that later. We are offering turtle experiences, so that could be one day, it could be a week, but I can guarantee you that if you come with me on a mission, you'll have a life-changing experience, and it will really impact the rest of your life. I'm here to look for partnerships. The things we're doing with the plastic is pretty unique, and we're making lots of different stuff. So we're currently expanding our product range, other keychains, but also furniture and other household articles. And hotels are interested in our product, and they're actually locally trying to put that into their rooms, because now the Marriott is going to place 500 lamps in each of their rooms. I'm here because I'm looking for funding. The plastic, let's go back. The plastic items we're going to do in a social enterprise. And I'm looking for partners that are willing to help me expand our international sales opportunities, because well, we're focusing on Curaçao now, but Curaçao is cleaning up pretty nicely. But there is really a lot of work to be done worldwide. Well, to do that, we can actually make a change, because in Curaçao it works, and it's going to be first the Caribbean region, because we're in the White Cast Network, and then we can actually make a global impact. We would need $500,000 per year to make a global impact, and we're looking for people that, like me, think that a clean ocean is priceless, and we really need to do something about plastic pollution. So I'm asking you here tonight, if you agree with me and you feel like we need to do something about plastic pollution, please help us out, and let's do something together about this global issue, and make a change and impact on a global level. Thank you very much.
Sabine, I want to congratulate you on a fantastic presentation. Mads will pledge $500 for each unit that we sell to preserve sea turtles.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you very much. That is really amazing. And that's another startup.
Have you looked into partnering with the hotels on the islands as part of your ecosystem?
So yes, we're starting with the Marriott, and this is a first. My English is failing me right now. It's the first order that we get, and I think it's pretty nice to have 500 rooms with a lamp made from the plastic we collect on the beach, and I think this will be a good start, and it will also motivate other hotels to try and make an impact, because 500 rooms with a lamp made from marine debris plastic is actually making an impact. It's about 180 kilos of plastic that's collected from the beach and repurposed.
Thank you. Excellent presentation indeed. Good pictures, a good drive. You mentioned you need $500,000 a year in funding.
Yeah.
Is it long term? You're always going to need five, or are you going to be sort of profitable, or at least?
You probably noticed I was a little bit nervous, but the thing that we really want to do is on Curaçao we're doing really well right now, and we want to create a visitor center there. We want to expand our staff, and we want to expand our impact, especially to the region. So Bonaire, Aruba, Barbados, and Trinidad will be our first targets, and we aim to do that within 3 years. And the idea with the visitor center is actually they will be more self-sustainable, because we'll get income from people that do the turtle experiences with us, because they spend on average $200 per night. And we'll also have day visitors and stuff like that. So we're going to generate more income, because what we generated so far we did without any marketing. So if we would invest a little bit in that, we could really expand our sales as well. And then it makes sense to go to the other islands, because the problem for marine debris is just as big there, and we're actually managing it right now in Curaçao. So we have a very tight network in the region for sea turtle conservation and ocean conservation, and our model works. So it is our duty, I feel, to also help the other islands.
But my question is kind of: are you in the future living from gifts, or are you seeing that you have a model that finances itself?
The idea is that we're setting up a social enterprise besides sea turtle conservation Curaçao, and that's why I'm looking for partners as well. And the idea is that 20% of the profit will go to sea turtle conservation locally. So if we focus on Barbados later on, the efforts that we do there and the sales we make there will profit the Barbados Sea Turtle Program. But on Curaçao, no, we will not need $500,000. But for the first 5 years, I really hope that I can secure that income, because I feel that if we have that and we have the good basis, we can actually be the hub for the Caribbean region and then go from there to the other continents.
I think so too. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Question over there.
Thank you for showing us that we're not doing a good job actually on our planet. But what kind of education do you give?
So we go to the schools during school hours. Mostly our volunteers do that. We also do after-hour school programs. And whenever we go abroad, so I've been to Japan, Belgium, my team members have been to Germany and Holland. We always try to include school programs and go to other NGOs that focus on kids, or companies that want to make an impact, and try to give them some advice on how they could improve their ways.
I have one more question. was talking about with my nephews and my niece about sea turtles the other day because they had a school project on that. Is it possible to adopt like a sea turtle?
We have 3 adoption programs that are operative. We have turtle nest adoptions for companies, or that's mostly local companies that are smaller or sometimes. It depends on the type of company, obviously, but we also have resident turtles. We identified 100. You can tell which turtle is which on the drawings on the face. We are going to make that automated as well. But you can adopt a resident. So we named all of them, and we have information signage on the turtle hotspots. So people could see Pointy, for instance, and that's a turtle that really stands out. And then they would say, well, I would like to adopt him. And that for a resident juvenile turtle, it's $25 per month per turtle. The nest adoption is $600, and then we also have hatchlings adoptions, especially for children. That's $6. Nest saves 100 hatchlings on average, and the hatchling adoption is just for children, that want to make an impact but don't really have the money to back it up. But they're really sweet because they just give what they have. When I tell them about sea turtles, for instance, in a classroom, they will give me just small gifts or a big hug when I'm done, because they really want to contribute as well, because they see it's not going very well with this, with our nature.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. We got one more.
Yeah, just one quick question. Beyond the tourism type gifts that you're making out of the repurposed plastic, are there any beyond the lamps? Are there any other developments for practical things?
Yes, we're making furniture with it, like little chairs. And obviously we'll do more. We also have fruit baskets already. And well, we're making customized designs. So when people have an event, they can make medals and stuff like that. We already do that.
Well, I am down for clean oceans, definitely. Okay. Down to our last startup. Thank you guys all for being patient. But we do have one more. You know what? We've got one of our stars here, Betty Ng, who has Inspiring Diversity and wrote this tremendous book with her mom called Polling Power. Stand up, Betty. Let everybody see you. She's here. One of our great members, Shirley, is here. Shirley, wave your hands so everybody knows where you are. There she is. And even one of our great supporters, Calvin Norman, Princeton guy, he's back there in the back. Wave your hand, Calvin. And if you ever want to do business in Africa, you want to deal with this super New Yorker, Harlem guy, the great Sparky. Sparky, wave your hand over there. He's the man. There's a young lady here named Susan Banks. Wave your hand. And just walking in is the great Cheryl. She's a movie maker. She did the great movie Chapter and Verse. Cheryl Hill, definitely go check out that movie. Is it still on Netflix? It's on Amazon Prime. All right. On iTunes, and it's a serious movie. And it all was shot in Harlem, 100%. So we're always very excited about her being here. And our last startup. It's almost said I want to keep going for like a couple more hours. Maybe we can get some more people up here. But Brendan's looking at me. Really? Come on. I'm going to ask my guy who pretty much organized all of this tonight in conjunction with Eddie and the rest of the team over at HaarlemValley. Hans Odaga, come on up here, Hans. So Hans was responsible not only for putting all these presentations together, but getting everyone organized, working with the facility here, helping with getting help a lot from our interns that are here. Now they're all in the room, but come on up, Hans, and introduce the last presentation.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Hans Odaga, Digital Coordinator for Silicon Harlem. Our last startup. I see many tears, many emotional people. I know we still have a lot more coming towards your way. There'll be networking afterwards. There might be a video. There's a couple of announcements we'll have towards the end while the judges are making their decision. So, without further ado, I'd love to welcome Nomad to the stage.
Just this one here. To the right. All right, got you. Oh, this one? Oh, that one. How you guys doing? My name is Sean Roeder. I am a dual licensed barber stylist and the co-founder of Nomad. I want to first start out, these individuals here, these investors, and you guys as well. Fundamental change is what they invest in and what you love and what changes every single industry. What does that look like? 140 character microblogs, Twitter. Getting in the car with a stranger and going somewhere, Uber. Exactly. Staying at a stranger's house while you were, coming from that, stranger's car, Airbnb. And so with that, we have Nomad. Nomad is, kind of got converted. Nomad is we design tools and tech distinctly for beauty on demand. And coincidentally, the N stands for nails, hair, makeup on demand. That's what the OD's for. That happened by happen chance. It's just kind of one of those things. The A stands for ambulant, which is going from place to place. So it all kind of worked out. What's the problem? Service costs are dictated by shops and salons. Every single person. Being a cosmetologist and a barber, coloring hair and everything like that, that stuff is incredibly expensive, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of women in here who can attest to that. Nails and all of that stuff. It is a very expensive thing that is dictated by the shop owners and or booth rent fees. Scheduling conflicts, we all know tons of startups in here. Everyone has a scheduling conflict with your chosen beauty professional. There's no easy way for on-demand service to scale. And so I had to design something that made it possible. I was one of 450,000 individuals that make below minimum wage. My booth rent was $800 a month, and that's $9,600 a year. There's also a friend of mine who her booth rent was $21,800 a month. And this is on top of paying rent and everything like that. So it is a very, very economically centric industry, if you will. All right, what's the solution? A compact, lightweight chair and case that you can take with you, put on a bike, pack with you, or anything like that. And so we designed that here with Zahn, right across the way in Harlem. And the next thing, a digital platform that is incredibly simplistic and reminiscent of hailing a ride share, if you will. I don't want to say think Uber, but just think about it. You ping a barber, stylist, or makeup artist, they come to you, perform the service in an incredibly flawless manner, and then they pack up like they were never there. Saves you time, saves everyone money, and you creatively intersect with people you have never met. And these are people that you find in your immediate locale. Market validation. I was one of those guys that made below minimum wage in an industry globally worth $217 billion and nationally worth $46 billion. Right now, there's 280,000 pros acting in the on-demand capacity. There's about 21 apps that have been created since 2012 that have access and a network of 1,000 professionals across the nation. But the key thing is they can't really scale because they're only located in densely populated urban areas. Market size. Obviously, 1 million pros professionally exists right now, not including the ones who've let their license lapse because of the fact that it's just not something that's economically possible. Once again, there's about 280,000 freelance pros, and the market that we're going after, the attainable market, is just 10% of that. So we want to go after just 28,000 and see where it goes from there. So competitive landscape. So there's 21, there was 5 here. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, but these guys are currently in the market right now. They dictate the pricing for on-demand beauty services. But once again, I worked for GoPriv, and it is incredibly cumbersome and logistically just a nightmare. Your clippers, you're taking your clippers, shears, and things like that. Sometimes shears can cost $400, $500 each. You drop them, crack them, and now you're trying to do a bob or some sort of a haircut and deliver on this beauty service, and you can't do it. And that's the big thing that you have. And so they're all expensive, they're available, but they aren't accessible all across hitting the critical mass, which is going to be your Midwest, your Arizonas, your Northwest, things like that. They're only in, once again, these densely urban areas, which is going to be New York, Philadelphia. They're in Miami and LA. They're not in the, the San Antonios. They're not in the El Pasos, where there are tremendous women who spend, men and women, who spend money on beauty services. So this is what it looks like. So we designed it with Zahn. This was something that we took, we had to take about 7 different elements from industries that didn't even make any sense to beauty. Talking about a fishing chair, a hunting chair. We combined it. All of it is going to be, it's fully equipped with all of the equipment that you need, and it weighs less than 45 pounds. You can attach it to a bike. You can walk around with it on the subway or anything like that. And once again, this is the engine that powers on-demand beauty services. The chair swivels, so you have LED lighting on the chair, the case itself, and all of your tools are securely cut, CNC'd inside a case there. If you want to do a dry hair service or anything like that, makeup service, and or nail service, you can do all of this stuff. This kit carries everything to make sure you're in and out, and they come to you where you want and when you want. Competitive advantage. We're first to market. No one is doing this. We went to the International Beauty Show. We went to barber trade shows, and people think I'm talking about a van. And then when I show it to them, they immediately can't believe that this was possible, and we made this possible. Pro incentive, booth rent, and split base compensation like $49.51. All that is eliminated. And what you do is you register your kit online, and at that point, you get to immediately find your beauty professional right in your locale. Easy to use. So we want to make sure that any kind of digital platform that we do place online is going to be reminiscent of hailing a ride share. We want to make sure that that user experience is very familiar to all of you guys. And once again, Nomad is not a brand, but we're a brand of professional, and we're the preferred brand of on-demand beauty professionals. Think K-Cup pods is to the whole pod coffee industry. That's what we are to on-demand. We make sure that they have what they need to perform a service flawlessly, sans a shop or salon. All right, so the business model. Taking our available market at $84 million, $3,000 for a kit. Now, we tested that price. Initially, it was $2,000. We got a lot of pushback. They were like, that's too cheap. And so we looked at that again. We kept testing it. Once again, going back to booth rent, $21,800 annually, and that's $1,800 a month that someone pays here in Haarlem, a woman who pays that here in Haarlem on a monthly basis to include charging you for a service, and she has to pay that out in a fee. And once again, what the number that we got the $252 million is at selling 16,800 kits a year. And so this is a number that we felt that was aggressive, but at the same time, it's going to make us find a solution and also produce things in a way that is cost effective, but also our margins are better. And we would definitely have to go to obviously source this overseas. Market adaptation. So obviously we want to become the generic and the preferred brand to any beauty professional, any on-demand beauty app that starts. Collaborative partnerships. These lead to scaling opportunities. Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, film industries at large, HCT Cosmetics, which is the company that makes
30 seconds.
Everything from MAC and Sephora, and obviously barber and cosmetology schools. We would supply them as well. This is our team, my wife, who has been a great help to this. And these are just testimonials from industry experts. Marcy Miguel at Paul Mitchell Systems said this was a cannibalizing technology, and they went away from it. At Wall, they said Aaron Flick said that everyone's trying to figure it out. We had the solution, and obviously, the $21,800 a month is booth rent. It's just things that we did. So what we're looking for is a $500,000 convertible note investment to make over 18 months to make 1,400 kits and generate $4.2 million in revenue. Thank you.
Let's see if there are any questions. Yes.
Maybe you explain it, but how does it work exactly? So you buy a kit, and then you become registered on this app. People can find you and book you. And
yes, sir. Yeah. That's it. So you purchase the kit. You go online, register the kit. So we make sure you register your license because we don't want anybody practicing, sans a license. I called every last local municipality. It's Department of Licensing and Registration, and every city in every state in the country, and so they don't have anything because we'd be able to write the rules for this particular industry. So you buy the kit, you register the kit, you register your license, and immediately someone can find you. If you're 0.5 miles away and no one knew that you're a barber, now they know you're a nomad, but they know that you can come to them in any capacity and perform the service flawlessly.
And then do you have a fixed pricing menu? Does everybody sell the same services for the same price?
And that's the beautiful thing. So if this individual wants to say, I'm a $15 haircut guy, that's what they do. If a woman says, you know what, I want to perform a smoky eye, or I want to do makeup services and do this particular thing, that's what she sets it at. And that's the beautiful part of it, because on the consumer side, you make beauty services incredibly accessible, and then now you have a talent pool that is limitless.
2 questions.
Yes, sir.
What's your cost?
Our costs, we estimated that initially in the U.S. at $1,000 on one end, and then it went up to about $1,500. So we are at kind of that 2-point margin, 2 points. We think that will go down as we source. We're going to be working with Genomex, which has deeper relationships in China. And so I think that's where everything will change when we do outsource.
Okay, and the second question I had is, if someone goes on and they're not registered, do they get kicked off the kit? Do they get kicked out of the process?
No, they keep the kit. If you buy the kit and you don't want to register online, no problem.
But if you're not a registered barber, that's what I mean.
Oh, yes, yes. Now, and I was asked that question. We will sell to, because there's a lot of people, if you guys don't know, who perform beauty services in a barbershop or salon that have no license. So if someone wanted to, there's nail techs, and I'm pretty sure people have had this. Everybody runs out when the Department of Registration and Licensing comes in. I've had it, like, everybody leaves, and then they come back when they leave. So if someone were to purchase a kit on their own, we will do that for revenue purposes, and also hopefully that encourages them to get their license. But we will sell kits to non-licensed individuals, but they will not be able to register online.
So you're going to make it in China, I understand.
Yes, and the reason we're going to do that, if we could make it in the U.S., we would. But as far as price goes, and getting that to a point where it is incredibly accessible to the masses, that's what we have to do.
So when 3K doesn't seem a large investment, although you were talking about minimal wages, do you have another program as well that it is accessible for them, that they can pay it off with installments or these type of things? Are you considering that?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of fintech platforms that like Cabbage and things like that, that if this is for a business, because each individual that is you're a practitioner and you are a business classified by the U.S. by tax purposes. So what we want to do is work with those fintech companies, and at that point, try to find a financing opportunity for them to pay off the kit, monthly. And they can do that either through the app and or separately.
Anyone else? We got one up here.
Is the app developed? And was that done in-house or outsourced, if so?
So it hasn't been developed. We've been focusing on the hardware. What we want to do is use API and GUI from rideshare companies, and then create something that is incredibly simplistic and seamless. So when you go on it as a consumer, it's a user experience that's very familiar. And on the backside, when the pros sign up, we want to make certain that they sign up and they immediately go up, and you'll see the branding that we had. You didn't see it, but it was done in South Africa. So everything's color coded. So you'll see a barber, stylist, makeup artist, and things like that, and in your immediate area. And everything will have locational routing, similar to WAG. When you find a dog walker, you'll see someone at a specific radius. If it's 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, and then you'll search for your service that way.
Last one here.
What's included in the kit?
Hello, I'm walking all the way here.
Can you talk about what's included in the actual kit that they get? Like,
they would build their kit. Every barber, stylist, makeup artist, and possibly and later on nail tech, they're going to use different tools. You have brand loyalists all over the place, and so that's where the L'Oreal's, the HCT Cosmetics come in. So we would give them our measurements, and we get their products, map them out, and plot it out similar to if you guys are familiar with fashion and marking and grading. So what we would do is mark everything. So they would actually build their kit based on the available products that we feel allow them to perform autonomously. So cordless clippers, a Dyson dryer, things like that. So they would actually go online and build the kit.
I mean, so it's an interesting idea, but the biggest challenge with cosmetics is that it varies based on the person's like skin tone or their
Absolutely.
things like that. So
Absolutely.
how are you factoring that in?
And that's where you have the brand loyalty. So you have the licensing opportunities with MAC. We'd have MAC kits, Estee Lauder, Clinique. Different companies can actually build a kit just for themselves. Like, we want this particular kit. We've talked to, once again, MAC. We've talked to, I think, a Parisian makeup company, and they're interested in that, creating something exclusively to them, especially when it comes to women of color who have different skin tones and things like that. So we want that to be something that they can actually kind of collaborate with them to create something just specifically for that company.
Okay, very good. We're gonna cut off there. Stay up here.
Okay.
All the startups come up. All the startups come up that presented. Brian, Yvonne, Jan, Hugo, come on up here, everybody. I want the judges to see these guys one more time before you guys deliberate. We're going to ask you, judges, to just go right outside that door and do your own deliberation amongst yourself to come up with a winner. But before you do that, I'm going to ask each of you, give you 10 seconds to think. Each of you, remind the judges of your company name and just give them one line to remember.
Yofi, we're helping the world eliminate credit card debt and achieve financial stability.
Nomad, we build toolkits distinctly designed for on-demand beauty services.
Mods, we do modular housing to make homes affordable again.
Sea Turtle Conservation Curacao, and we offer a solution to the global plastic pollution problem.
Meester, we make learning fun again.
STEM Kids NYC, we build STEM identities, teach kids how to code, engineer, and love science.
Give them all a hand. Judges, follow Valerie. We have a couple of quick announcements that I think you'll like. One of them is we've got our next event coming up August 11th. You might want to make a mental note of that, or maybe perhaps even put it in your calendar now. But on August 11th, this might go over some of your heads. Some of you might just get it right away, but we're doing Fortnite in the Heights. Yeah, somebody knows what I'm talking about. Fortnite in the Heights. So if you haven't heard about Fortnite, just look it up quickly. But it's the hottest gaming experience in the world right now. It's an e-sport, and it's basically concurrent playing in a video game environment, and it is so much fun. But it's also extremely spectator-friendly. People watch people play Fortnite. So we're going to be doing it at the Armory in Upper Manhattan in Washington Heights. We're expecting a couple of 2,000, 3,000 people. It will be the largest event ever in New York for gaming. So we're very excited about it, but we need everyone's help. It's going to be full of a bunch of teenagers, and it's going to be a lot of fun, but we definitely want you to come out for that. Is that about right, Hans? Is there anything else we ought to add?
Yeah, definitely. We'll need more volunteers to deal with these teenagers.
The other, John Paul, come on down here real quick. John Paul are two of our interns this summer, and I will have them tell you a project that they're working on right now, and hopefully can get some of your help even tonight.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Eschero, and this is... I'm Paul Kojo. We're students at the University of Virginia studying engineering, and this summer we're working as assistant researchers and interns with Silicon Harlem for a project in which we're studying the ways in which a lot of people utilize technology in dense urban areas.
and we're looking tonight. Well, first of all, thank you all for coming out, and
Yes.
we really appreciate it and love the projects that you guys are working on. I think it's very brave for you guys to tackle these startups. So tonight we have some surveys out that we wish that some of you guys can take. It's just basically a simple 5 to 10 minute project. 5 to 10 minute survey asking about your uses with technology, your experience with it, how you grew up with technology. It doesn't ask for any personal information. We're just hoping for you guys to take it tonight. And that's about it.
Everything is voluntary, everything is confidential, and the purpose of the survey is so that we can help be better informed to service underserviced communities that don't have the access to a lot of the advanced technology and broadband that many other areas of this country have and that are becoming a necessity as far as education.
Yeah, so if you guys have any smart devices, or we have some computers out here that you guys can take it. So thank you.
I mean, come on, isn't that something? Listen to these guys. Both of them are engineers, majoring in engineering, and doing great work for us. We're very proud of them. So now is the time. If you have any announcements to make, I'm open to hearing them right now. Anyone have something they want to announce? Say it loud.
Hack. There's an immigration hackathon in 2 weeks. If anyone's interested on immigration heritage, it's the 3rd annual one. It's going to be at NYU Magnet in downtown Brooklyn. So immigration, just come see me. It's a splashdown page. I am immigrant heritage. Love to have anyone that's interested in being involved in like solving the immigration problem.
Excellent. Excellent. Definitely got to support. Who else wants to make an announcement? I want to talk about VR video in just a second.
Sure.
Go ahead, stand up and say it.
Sure. Hi, good evening. My name is Michael Roach. I'm from upstate New York in Albany. I came here to check it out. I'm originally from New York City. Next week on Tuesday, June 26th in the morning from 9 till 10:30, I'm giving a workshop on how to engage distracted consumers. Today we have smartphones and devices and all these things that are taking away our attention. But how can you connect with your consumer or your customer and make a sale or interact with them? It's going to be in Harlem at a place called Team Co-work. That's 1463 Fifth Avenue.
What did you say again? No, I caught that. So yeah, there's a lot of distractions, but we should support that workshop. I hope you have the kind of skills. All right, so we have a few others. Stand up and say it loud.
Hi, my name's Hunter Bergschneider. I have 2 companies that I wanted to pitch you guys on that I'm not part of, but they're awesome, and I see that many of you are affiliated with startups, and they're both located in New York. So one of them is a on-demand engineering for cheap. Whatever your budget is, $2,000 a month is their entry level. You get 40 hours of an engineer, and they're totally decentralized. It's called Turtle.ai. Might want to check that out. The other one is called Office Engine, and they do back office, same thing. Finance, P&L modeling, HR, operations, and these 2 companies are helping startups focus on the idea and the execution to get the engineering and the back office stuff out of your way. So again, it's Turtle.ai is the engineering stuff, and Office Engine is for back office, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you need introductions, please let me know.
Well, that's awesome. Every day I hear somebody say, Clayton, you know an engineer that can work with me? So I can send them to On Demand. I like that. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kingston. I was born in Ghana. We're going to the Fordham University, the Foundry. We're going to do like a pitch, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks from now. So if you're doing a network, you just come to me, take your name down. If you set a date, we'll let you know. And I'll come to tell one about the mobile that we just started. It's called Kilimanjaro. The whole idea is to help you discover native African diaspora stuff around you, wherever you are. I'm the founder.
Outstanding. You have to talk to Hans. He's from Ghana. That's good. Announce something? Say something? Come on, give the crowd. Distinguished gentleman here.
Well, I'm a retired educator. I started a business Gravity Wells Technology. I have my first patent, and I'm working on a few patent pending. That's about it. My name? Oh, I'm sorry, Kent Butler. Sorry.
Thanks for being here. Give him a hand. Stand up. Let's hear what you got to say.
Everybody, I'm Joe Spence. I'm the lead organizer for Space Apps NYC.
Oh, Space Apps. We love you guys.
The local New York chapter for the International Space Apps Hackathon. It's run by NASA. We have over 25,000 people internationally that participate every year to build stuff that goes into space. This year it takes place October 19th through the 21st. You go to spaceapps.nyc, you can learn more about it and register. You get to work with NASA and NOAA data to solve problems in Earth observation, cleaning up the oceans, plastic problems, working with agriculture, a lot of really cool stuff. We get astronauts that come to our event, so you get to meet really cool people. A lot of people in the space industry in New York, and you get to network with them. It's a really great event. Highly recommend check it out.
I do want to mention that this event, the whole event, has been streamed, and streamed actually in two different ways. One, a live stream on our website and through the Internet Society. And Jolie is in the back there. Give Jolie a big hand. He's been with us from the beginning. And Edwin, where are you? Come on up here. Come on up here. Come up here. Come up here. So you see that incredible camera on top of that stick that's blinking and doing all types of weird things. He's the man responsible. Tell people a little bit about what you're doing.
Thank you so much. By the way, I first discovered virtual reality at the Space Apps Hackathon, so I second that awesome event. It was my first hackathon, and I actually created a tour of Mars and won a most inspirational idea award there. So that's one of the reasons why I even got into virtual reality. So my name is Edwin Rogers, and about 6-7 years ago, I discovered virtual reality at the Space Apps Hackathon, and I've been working ever since in creating 360 video. My company is called vrvideo.co, and I create live stream 360 video content for businesses and journalisms. I've done like inaugurations, Women's March, Broadway shows, lots of events. And so that's what I do.
You got to support him, and if you need the service, look him up. You have an event. It's a great thing to have VR video as part of your event, so definitely look him up. Other announcements? Anyone else have anything they want to announce, or any questions about Silicon Harlem? I'll just make a couple of quick highlights about what we're doing, and then we'll get Valerie and the judges in here. So for us, maybe one of the more significant I guess things that we've been able to do. You all, if you haven't known yet, we focus a lot on broadband connectivity. If you don't know, 40% of the households in Harlem do not have broadband in the home. And I'm going to let that sink in because it's hard to believe. But 40% of the homes do not have broadband. And it's not because of access. It's simply because of affordability. So when we know at the end of the day that this is a human right, you can't get a job, you can't manage your health, you can't do practically anything. You certainly can't even do your homework. 90% of homework requires an internet connection. That means we're leaving an entire population behind, foolishly and unnecessarily. So Silicon Harlem is really focused on bridging that gap in a bunch of different ways. One, we hold the incumbents' feet to the fire. The average price in New York is $150 per month just to have connectivity. Most of the incumbents force you into some level of a triple play, and you end up paying $150 a month. That's expensive even for most of us. Think about somebody who is low income or check to check. It's tough. Their children have to, our office is 1 block from a Starbucks. Thank God about 3 o'clock. But we do sometimes go over there about 3:30 just to see what's going on, and we see kids hanging around Starbucks or a Link NYC trying to get a Wi-Fi signal to do homework on a cell phone. Well, Clayton, well, everybody's got a cell phone. What's the big deal? Well, let me take your computer out of your home, and you just work on a cell phone and see what that feels like. Your kid gets to go home, sit in a nice chair, have a nice meal, surrounded by family, and get their work done. Whereas other kids have to step over homeless people, be worried about who could mess with them, try to get a Wi-Fi signal, and finish it on some level of a cell phone. That's ridiculous. So Silicon Harlem's 100% committed to bridging that gap by, one, we work with the incumbents to lower their prices for affordable housing, the affordable housing population, and we're making great progress with that. Two, if they don't get themselves together, Silicon Harlem is very much interested in becoming our own internet service providing company. So you'll be able to get connectivity from Silicon Harlem directly. Yeah, absolutely. It's expensive, but it doesn't necessarily need to be so anymore. Doug Holloway remembers the days when the content side of the business held the cable companies, we put our foot on their neck. They have to pay almost $25 just for ESPN. So you're looking at, they can't lower their prices. They've got these content deals that are killing them. Well, most of you who are under 30 years old, you're not even looking at a cable network. You're looking at all the other, what we call over-the-top services. So we know there's ways to lower the price. So we want all of you to know that that's what we're completely obsessed with, is figuring out how to make sure. Listen, everyone deserves a connection. How can you even fly if you travel? How do you fly? You can't. It's not like whatever day it was when you could go back and buy an airline ticket somebody with cash. That doesn't happen no more. So you can't fly. You can't. What are you trying to stop my? Look, I'm right here on my pedestal, and here you come. I'm gonna stop there, but I will say this: we need your help, and that help only comes in the form of just good vibes. Send it our way. Keep coming out and repping this, because what we found out is as strong as our perhaps engineering skills are, and as strong as our technical skills are at Silicon Harlem, and as strong as our overall language around government policy and all that stuff, the only thing that ultimately matters is if the community gets behind it. That's the only thing. We've written the white papers, we've been to Congress, we've done all that kind of stuff. I've been doing it all my career. Doug knows. I've been doing it all my career. But nothing really happens until the community's galvanized and our entire voices are combined to make this change, or at least to bridge these gaps and to move this community forward, and all communities around this nation. It is the United States is in a real pickle if we don't make sure all of our citizens are not getting this type of exposure and access. And I just want to finally say that, again, we're very thankful to the borough president, to my brother from another mother, Matthew Washington, because they feel this way. There's nobody been on the grind harder than Gail and Matthew when it comes to equity in this city. And what Bruce and I have been working on really heavily is how do we platform Harlem? How do we platform community? And a result of that is this Cosmos project, one of the projects we have going on, looking at advanced wireless technology happening in Harlem with a budget of over $50 million. Hello?
Yeah.
$50 million, unprecedented. Nowhere in the country is this happening, and perhaps nowhere in the world, where we have the top researchers from Columbia, from Rutgers, from City College, from NYU, we've got the University of Arizona, we've got the best minds working on this. When you hear people say these buzzwords like 5G and all this kind of stuff, that's great, but we're a few years away. We are doing the research to make sure that it's not, that it's one, it's going to be equitable for people, but also it's going to actually work. So you can be proud. Harlem is going to be the community in the world that will be leapfrogging technology and never trail again. Thank you very much. Do we have a winner?
Yes, before that,
Before that, yes.
I want to thank the team. So come on stage, Eddie, Eva, Hans, Clayton, and everybody else from the Silicon Harlem team.
All the interns, come up here.
Everybody
John
from the
Paul,
Silicon Harlem,
Bruce.
yes.
Where's Sam? Did he leave already? Get everybody up here.
Okay, and I want to thank you for all what you did. It was a great night. Thank you.
Someone take a picture? Thanks, Yuzo.
So now we're going to announce the winner. And we have somebody from the jury is going to take the word. Eric?
Did you want to say something on each of them? Or just go right into it?
We were just going to go right into it.
Okay. That's good with me.
I know people are hungry. First, we want to say and thank each team for what we felt were outstanding presentations. We felt that every team addressed the 4 critical aspects that we had in our judging criteria. And just so that everyone will understand what they are, we were looking at innovation, what did the product or service look to solve, and how was it innovative in what it was doing. How well the person did the pitch, how well they connected with the audience. We spent a lot of time watching eye contact. We went a lot of time watching how you reacted, even though our backs were to you, in the Q&A. We also wanted to look at what their team was like, how their team was developed, and what were the thought processes going into their team developing going forward. And last, we looked at scalability. Was this an opportunity, service, or product that was scalable, that could address what they saw as their critical problem? And then lastly, we were challenged to have a tiebreaker category, which was, what was the impact of the product or service? How was it going to change lives? Fortunately, we all sat and had different numbers for each of the different areas, but we had one clear winner or one clear company that we felt superseded the others in how they addressed this. And it was in part because they were taking on a big problem. And that company is Sea Turtles. We felt that they were addressing a problem that all of us are facing in managing and looking at the planet, but they were doing it in a creative way. They had developed a team, they had an outlook, and one of the most interesting and compelling driving forces that we looked at is they've already identified in Marriott a partner that could basically take them throughout the world. If they can nurture that relationship and build that...
Hang on, Eric. This is not Fortnite yet. Turn that stuff off. Keep going.
We felt that if they could nurture that relationship and build that bond with a global giant like Marriott that shared the same vision in addressing the problems that we're seeing in our oceans, that they will be able to have an impact with the funds that they were seeking out to change and solve the problem that they were addressing.
Congratulations.
Now we're going to make pictures, of course. So all the judges next to Sabine and Clayton. And we had a movie.
Bonus movie.
So, but can I just borrow this just a second? So, thank you very much, everybody in the jury. I'm really speechless because I really didn't expect this, but now I'm very happy that that we can show the video that we produced. So maybe now if you watch this, you actually might really feel what I feel.
I'm gonna sit down and watch this.
No more place to make a nest. I'd like to make a wish. Let's give them a future. In the healthy hope. Stop our seeing no. That's the below the styrofoam.
Throw it in the trash can, nothing to the sea. This is our home. Can't you even see the earth, the ocean, and the animals? We all need love. No what's the land you see? Can you see now? In the sea. In the sea, in the sea. Hey, 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 hey. Can you feel? Can you feel it? In the sea, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Can you see? Can you see? In the sea, yo, hey, hey. Can you feel what I feel?
I can't see this anymore. Can we do something about it? Do you feel it in your heart? Let's help each other to fight this. We can't accept this anymore, no. Let's do something about it. We can make a change. No stress anymore. 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 Leave the ocean, no stress anymore. No stress anymore. No stress anymore. Pone mano en la boca, unión y fuerza, nos vamos a unir. No stress anymore. No stress anymore.
Okay, Sabine, we want to take one last picture with you. Please come up. Valerie, please. And then for everybody else, event's over. Thank you so much for coming through today. And you can head downstairs for more networking. There's some empanadas left over. And you can talk with our interns that will still be taking their survey. But you can hang out for about the next 30 minutes. And for all the other startups, please come talk to the wonderful Eddie right here for your other prizes. So have a great night, y'all.